everyone. Welcome back to the show. Great to have you here. Super excited for today's topic, which is Ayurvedic medicine. Anytime that I get to talk about Ayurvedic medicine is a good day. But today's focus is on how the ancient herbs used in Ayurvedic medicine are actually going through clinical trials right now to potentially be used for this virus. So during the pandemic, a lot of researchers and scientists are looking at any means possible of dealing with this particular virus. And the great thing is that outside of the United States, other clinical trials go on. Believe it or not, the United States are not the only purveyors of medicine and actually treatment protocols. So as I go through today's show, I just want to share with you that today is not a treatment protocol, nor a cure for any virus or anything at all. What I'm doing is I'm sharing with you what we already know about these specific herbs and why they may become a breakthrough in the future as they have in the past for certain viruses and, as we call them, influenza-like illnesses. Now, if you are looking for specific treatment protocols, please do go back. I believe it was just 2 weeks or so, episode 1810, StephenCabral.com/1810. And that is the complete pandemic antiviral protocol, actually written up in terms of scientifically studied conventional medicine. Plus, I give you the exact things that I use myself. So I wanted to put that out for everybody against my better wishes in terms of how the FDA views it, but I knew I had to get that out to people because I know that we're going to be in this for another couple months. So I wanted to get that to you. And again, proven. I've used it in the past. I used it with this particular virus, and I definitely recommend it. Plus, there's the conventional medicine protocols that I can't recommend enough as well if any of your loved ones need them. So let's get into today's show. So today's show is number 1825. So you can just go to StephenCabral.com/1825. I'm going to be talking about 4 specific Ayurvedic herbs that have antiviral properties that are being used right now in clinical trials, many of them in India. So let's go through that right now. And remember, Ayurveda has its own journal. It has its own integrative health-based journal. I'm going to share some of those links with you today. So if you're actually looking for the research, I'm happy to link up some of the research studies for you. Believe it or not, some are published in PubMed as well for all those people out there who don't actually believe that Ayurveda is based in modern day science. Well, it was developed 6,000 years ago, but now being proven to work today. We don't need modern science to tell us that it works. We know that it works. It's great if modern day researchers want to, put it through clinical rigors and show that it works. That's fantastic. But again, for all the people that have gotten well using it, they certainly don't need more than that. All right, let's get right into it. The first herb, I wanted to get this one out of the way. Most people have heard about this herb before. I've talked about it at length before. I'll try to link up an additional podcast on Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, you may know it as Indian ginseng. You may also know it as Withania somnifera. Most people just have heard about it by now as ashwagandha. Ashwagandha, main clinical use that most people use it for, that's so well studied for, is stress, okay? Anybody that's stressed has higher levels of cortisol, more towards anxiety. They can potentially see a lot of benefit from using ashwagandha. We use it in our product called Adrenal Soothe by Equilife. Probably one of the most popular products we have. It's used by thousands of practitioners in their practices all around the world as well. Well, why does it work so well? Well, it's considered an adaptogen. So it helps with healthy levels. I have to say it may help with healthy levels of blood sugar, healthy levels of cholesterol, healthy levels of stress, healthy levels of, helps with energy levels, helps balance cortisol levels. So basically as an adaptogen, if you get too low in energy, it helps bring you back up. If you get too high, it helps calm you back down. So it works with the autonomic nervous system. So the autonomic nervous system is like a scale, sympathetic and parasympathetic. When your body needs more fight or flight, get up and go. Like right now, I'm in the sympathetic nervous system. When it needs to be more relaxed, now I'm in more of the parasympathetic. So again, your body works in specific positive and negative feedback loops, and ashwagandha helps to regulate that. So why would it be great, or why would it be potentially helpful then as an antiviral? Well, higher levels of stress can equal higher levels of inflammation when chronic. That's not going to be good when dealing with a particular virus. Not good for the immune system either. Whenever you're under higher levels of stress, it begins to shut down and imbalance the immune system. So really important to look at that. Ashwagandha has also been shown to help boost overall memory and brain function, cognitive performance, so it may help with blood flow as well, and obviously that's good in terms of circulation. So that's a great one to look out for. Always, again, ashwagandha has been one of my favorites for a very long time. It had me once I learned that the name for ashwagandha was in Sanskrit. It literally translates to the smell of a horse, and that's exactly what it smells like. It doesn't smell great. It's a root, but for sure, it's a great product, and it comes as a capsule, so you really won't smell it. It's only if you're having ashwagandha tea that it might smell a little like a horse. All right, so the next up is called Guduchi. All right, if you don't know it as Guduchi, which is Guduchi, it's also known as Amrit. That's a very common name for Guduchi as well as cordifolia. We actually list some of our products as cordifolia, and it stands for imperishable. So a strong adaptogen as well. Why is Guduchi called imperishable, or why is it known for its strength? It helps to boost the immune system. Clinically proven. It's been shown to help boost the immune system, enhance immune function. It also does that by helping to regulate cytokines. We've heard a lot with this particular virus and a lot with viruses in the past, such as the flu, that there's an issue with cytokines, right? The cytokine storm. Now, largely that's been kind of like mitigated and relaxed a little bit. People are having all these issues. They were, pretending to be an expert in virology by saying you shouldn't use elderberry. Listen, I've said this before as a health professional, don't overstep your bounds. If that's not the truth, don't go out there and scare people about using elderberry. Now we know elderberry is actually helpful. So again, let's relax on jumping to conclusions, myself included. I always have to take a step back. I always think about things and say, okay, do I want to say that? Let me think about it. Let me sleep on it for a night. And then you move forward, right? So, but here's the thing. Amrit, Guduchi, cordifolia, amazing for immune balance. Has also potentially been shown to help with infections, fevers, and urinary tract disorders. I will link up some of the research on that. So number 2 was Guduchi, Amrit, being studied. You might already be using it now. Fantastic. Again, I'm going to give you kind of a little bit of my thought process around Ayurvedic herbs at the end of the show as well, like how often to use them. All right. The next one is called Maluthi, and Maluthi is better known. So here's the thing. Maluthi, most people, if you're not studying Ayurvedic medicine, you definitely would not know it as that. Also called Yashtamadu, but we know it as in the US as licorice root. Okay, so now you probably know, okay, licorice root. You've talked about licorice root before. On episode 1810, I actually gave licorice root as one of the items I would absolutely use with basically any virus. Okay, now why would I use that personal use? Why would I personally use it? Well, the antiviral activity of licorice root has been proven. It's been shown. I mean, it is a powerful herb against viruses, right? Whether it's herpes-based virus, many other viruses as well, EBV, it may help with the flu, etc. So I was doing a lot of research way back in March when, we were at this dealing with this particular virus, and I was looking at previous SARS-based viruses, and I was actually looking at the research on licorice root. That was one of the top things I recommend. So people are like, oh, you're just giving the same recommendations as Joe Rogan, or like someone said that. And I was like, how can you, if you listen to my podcast back in March, I was talking about licorice root. So that was well before that. I think Joe Rogan's amazing. I think a lot of other practitioners and I should say podcasters getting the information out is fantastic. But I go by the research. And so that's where my recommendations come from. And so the research and the work that I was actually looking at was Dr. Gonzalez. Dr. Gonzalez, I believe, is a teacher out of, I don't want to say the wrong university, but he's a naturopathic doctoral professor. I believe he still is. And anyways, I like his books. I think his books are great, and they're very technical, but if you're a practitioner, I think they're great books. And so I was reading through one of his books on viruses and the immune system, and a lot of the details were there. So I've been a fan, obviously, of licorice root for some time. I learned about it way back in the day when dealing with adrenal issues, to use that in conjunction with like a DHEA and other items that may help. Of course, that's not the only thing that you should use, but we certainly use it in our product called Adrenal Energy Support. So when the adrenals need a little bit of a boost, well, it can act as a natural, it may act as a natural anti-inflammatory. It may help with ulcers. I mean, there's a list. I just wanted to share this with you. And so usually my podcasts are always off the cuff, but the amount of ailments that licorice root can help with is unbelievable. So I'm going to read them to you, but then I'm going to tell you why, because it's not a panacea, but I want to tell you why. So I'm just going to go through these. It may help as, so just insert may before all of these. It may help as an antacid. It may help as an anti-inflammatory, may help as an antioxidant for Alzheimer's, for obesity, for burning body fat, for arthritis, for cancer, for tumors, for asthma, for bacteria. It may help for energy. It may help for pain. It may help for joint pain. It may help for depression. It may help for oxidative stress. It might help for stress. It may help for nausea. It may help for low libido. It may help for a lot of mucus. It may help to break up a cough. It may help with the immune system, and it may help balance estrogen levels in women. So pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Well, how can one herb do all these things? Well, it doesn't. It's its effect on our actual body. So we have to understand is that licorice root is actually helping with the autonomic nervous system. It's giving a little bit of get up and go. It's giving a little bit of circulatory boost. It's giving it a little bit of what's called a positive feedback for the HPA axis. So it's helping to better regulate the overall autonomic nervous system. And if we do that, well, we can produce cortisol at the right times and not at the wrong times. So that's one of the many benefits of licorice root. I just want to also put one caveat here, because if you're taking DGL and you see licorice at the end of it, that is not licorice root. DGL is being deglycerized, and when it does not have the same properties as licorice root. So DGL can be very helpful for stomach indigestion, etc., and we do use it actually, and it's quite a great product for that. But if you're looking for the benefits of what I just spoke about, you would actually be using licorice root. So that's that. It's been known for a long time. So yes, they're using it in trials for this particular virus, but we know it has antiviral properties for other viruses as well. So very, very hopeful and looking forward to that one as well. Now, this is a big one. So this is the fourth one I wanted to bring you, the last one I wanted to bring you. And I'll see, actually, again, I don't typically ever do this, but I want to see if I can pull this up specifically for you today. Yes, I have the study right here. So this is called Ayush 64. Okay, so it's Ayush 64. And it says a polyherbal Ayurvedic formulation in influenza-like illness. So what this is and what they put together is a specific herbal formula that I'm going to link up for you today at stephencabral.com/1825. And what I'll do is I'll actually link up the PubMed study as well. So that's why I love being able to share this with you, because being able to share it from a natural health standpoint, let's say Ayurvedic medicine, but then also saying, like, listen, there's also scientific research behind this as well. So what Ayush 64 is taking the herbs that I just spoke about, and it's putting them into an individual formula. And now it's using this almost like a drug, but it's not a drug, but it's as a synergistic formula of the three herbs that I just spoke about. And it is now being used in clinical trial. Now, it's been used before for potentially helping with malaria, although I will add a caveat here, and I'm going to link up this show as well. So hopefully my team can hear this and link it up at stephencabral.com/1825. There is an herb that has been found to be more powerful than anti-malarial based drugs. And the herb is called Artemisia, and it goes by different names. But And actually, the research on it won the Nobel Prize many years ago. And it actually was done by a layperson who was looking up individual Ayurvedic herbs and treatments for this thing, which is pretty fantastic. But again, it's always been there. It's not like anyone's hiding it. You could have gone to one of the different Ayurvedic doctors in India and be like, hey, what do you use for malaria? And they would have been like, oh, Artemisia. And that would have been that. But that's why, again, I think the internet is helping with that speed of transmission. But when I was in India, it's going back a bit now. I've been there multiple times, but the same back and forth sharing of information still isn't there yet. I think it will get there for sure. I've studied there. Many other doctors and practitioners are going to learn as well. So what I'll share with you is that a lot of the pharmaceuticals being used right now, at least early on for this particular virus, were anti-parasitic or anti-malarial based drugs. So it's very interesting to look at that as to why it might be helpful. Like, why is this working on a virus when it's not necessarily a parasite like malaria? So part of it could be, and again, we're speculating, and I'm going to link up to this show as well, that it may act as a zinc ionophore. Again, we don't know, and that's why I'm speculating. But there's potential for it because we know zinc ionophores work with this particular virus. So here's the thing. I'm going to link up a show on what zinc ionophores are, but essentially what they're doing is they're allowing zinc into the tissue, and the zinc is helping to destroy the ability for the viruses to replicate. So that's kind of plain and simple. They can't replicate. So pretty amazing. And what it showed, at least in one study, was Ayush 64. Again, this is using the herbs in a 1 week intervention, just 1 week of using Ayush 64 helped to recover from influenza-like illnesses, which again is a virus. Symptoms with reduced frequency of usage of acetaminophen and antihistamines. The intervention was safe on hematological and biochemical parameters. No adverse or serious effects were observed during the study. So again, I'll link that up for you, but it shows you the potential to be able to use these Ayurvedic herbs as potential treatment protocols in the future. Here's my input, and I would give you my input. I don't believe most herbs need to be used on a daily basis. I believe herbs are medicine. I believe that nature and the world around us gave us everything that we need in order to heal our body. But I will tell you this, that most herbs, again, as medicine, should be used as such. Most herbs don't need to be used on a daily basis. You can certainly make a good argument for using ashwagandha every day, for using something like tulsi every day, for using ginger every day. I agree with you in those. Like herbals like those, yes. Stronger ones, like would you want to take amaret or Guduchi every day? I don't think so. And I would actually advise against it. I don't think that you should take echinacea every day. I don't think you should take anything that's an immune stimulant every day. I wouldn't take elderberry necessarily every day. During cold and flu season, I'm okay with that. That's 3 or 4 months, not all year round. So there's kind of like an ebb and flow to everything. But I will also say this, is that I'm a firm believer in using the best of everything. I feel, an integrative health practitioner. I will use the best of everything. So will I use things beyond Ayurvedic herbs? Of course. Why wouldn't I use vitamin C? Why wouldn't I use vitamin D? Again, when I was in India, it's sunny. There's sun. We can get people outside. We called it sunbathing, right? You get out there and you would actually give people sunbathing as part of their prescription. Why would you do that? Well, the sun helps with detoxification. It helps with circulation, but you're getting vitamin D. But let's say you live where I live in Boston, the Boston area. Well, why wouldn't you not take vitamin D during the winter? You're not getting any. So again, I believe in the best of everything. Vitamin C, taking zinc, taking vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc as part of the overall protocol. That's our immunity protocol. I highly recommend that as well. So again, I don't believe one thing has to be the panacea or the true remedy, but I do believe we should use the best of everything. So what I'm going to do, the commitment I've made, is to make sure that I share with you everything that is working, especially from a natural health-based perspective. I will follow up on this without a doubt, but right now, Ayush 64, they are looking at it that it may work as a prophylaxis for helping people not get sick in the first place. Again, I can't guarantee that. I can't promise that, but that's one thing that we're looking at. And it's being used right now with doctors and practitioners on the front lines in India in these particular studies and trials. So more to come, but I wanted to share that with you. Always excited, again, about bringing the ancient up to modern day and showing you how all of these things worked and have worked for many thousands of years. And by using them properly, they can work for you as well. Hopefully today's show was helpful. If it was, please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe could serve. Take care, everyone, and I will talk with you tomorrow on our new Conversations with Cabral.